it is time to talk about the Schizo fight. This is one of I think this is one of the most complicated fights in the game. It involves a lot of like just keeping track of a lot of different things at once. So basically, what this fight is it is a two-headed dragon. Each head has 18,000 health, sorry. One of them does fire attacks, the other one does ice attacks. And when you hit them too many times, they counterattack you with an earth attack. And when they die, when each one dies, it counterattacks with a lightning attack. So you've got fire, ice, earth, and lightning all kind of represented damage-wise here. And so I realize I've been doing this a lot, which might be a little confusing, but like the deal is there's two ways. Once again, there's two ways to fight this boss. And the way that I do it now, and like the way that like the top level fastest way to do it, is not really the first way that I want to explain it, because it's a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to start out with the safer, slower strat, and then we're going to talk about like the faster, more often currently used strat. There's two different ways to do it. So first, let's talk about the kind of slower, safer strat. So one kind of weird thing about it is that I've so far been giving you menus that relate to the other way to do it, including putting Elemental Shiva on Tifa. So everything else we've already prepared for this fight in the other menu, in the Icicles menu. We put Dragon Armlet on Cloud. This drains is really bad wording here. This halves damage from the fire, ice, and lightning attacks, just not the earth counter. The Gygus Armlet we need on Tifa so that she has as much power as possible, because I mentioned that he counterattacks after you hit him a certain number of times, which means a big part of this fight is killing this boss in the fewest number of attacks possible. So we're going to have Gygus Armlet on Tifa, and then the Fire Ring makes it so that the Fire Head does 0 damage to her. And then the Cid's got the Fire Armlet, which drains fire attacks. So you'll notice all three characters are in some way protected from fire, but Cloud is the only one at all protected from ice. And so what we're going to do is we're going to focus our attacks on the ice head first, take it down, and then finish off the fire head second. And so the easier way to do this fight, there's not a ton to it. You just have to count the hits, right? So we're going to lead the fight with some buffs, as usual, right? We do Big Guard to have damage and have everybody hasted, which allows us to weight trick and all that. Tifa is going to use the hero drink that we picked up from Icicle Inn. So that is going to give her a big strength buff, which is going to allow us to take out the boss in, again, as few hits as possible. And then Cid death sentences Tifa, to give her that quad damage on Power Soul. And then after that, basically we just weight trick death blows while counting hits. So we got to take out the ice head first, and it will counter after every 6 hits. So as we are attacking the left head, we're also counting hits and making sure that we're not going to trigger an earth counter while somebody would die from it, especially Tifa, because if Tifa dies, she loses her hero drink bonus. And then once that head is dead, we go over to the right head, and we go from there. So it's not that complicated, and the only difference menu-wise, and this is even optional, the only difference menu-wise to this point that's optional is when you were doing Icicles, when you put Elemental Shiva on Tifa, most people, back when this was like the regular strat, from what I understand, would do Elemental Rama on Cid to protect him from the lightning death counters, instead of Shiva on Tifa. It's optional. You could still do Elemental Shiva on Tifa if you wanted for this strat. Either way is fine. So, then, what do we do for the menu? I've already kind of done the menu here, but first thing we do is use a tent, because there's a save point here, right? So you can use a tent. The other option is that you can heal the party on this spring here. which will not cost you a tent. So, like, maybe your money route requires that you buy one less tent than we bought in Rocket Town or something. If that's the case, you can actually heal up at this spring. The only difference is that if you heal up at the spring, that untranks everybody. So then you would have to come in and you'd have to trank everybody. So it's either tent at the save point or trank after the spring. I did a thing here that I don't need to do for this version, so I'm just going to use a potion there, but you wouldn't have to know. All right. And then the only other thing that you have to do, the only other thing that you have to worry about is whether you were on ATB wait, which if you... a lot of the time you'll be on ATB active at this point, if you wanted. But I mentioned one thing about this is, so I mentioned after Icicles, I put it on ATB active, and then at this point I would put it on ATB wait. However, lately, if I'm feeling like my steps are good enough to where I'm not going to get the second Malboro encounter, and we're going to get the encounter with the 2 Coerls in this room, then... if I'm confident that I'm that good on steps, I don't even put it on ATB active after Icicles anymore. I just keep it on wait. So then for this strat, that means that all you have to do at this point to prepare for the battle is heal the party, and then you're good. So let's go. One other important thing to know is if you are not on a step route, then the next room is where the boss is. But the entire room has the Inescapable battle flag active, which means any battles in the next room are inescapable. But there's only a little bit of running that's actually active in that room, and so I would recommend, if you're not on a step route, to force an encounter right here before you enter the room to make sure you don't get into an inescapable battle. But if you are on a step route, it should already account for this, and you shouldn't have to worry about it. So, okay, let's go. Now, okay, another fun thing about this part is that this room is not active for the first, 10 seconds or so after you clear this text box. So, if you're on a step route, this is, required, but otherwise it's just good to not get into battles. Make sure when you clear this text box that you're already buffering down and run, so that when the text box clears, Cloud runs all the way down, and you see my step ID just stays at 162 the whole time. There you go. So that took 0 steps to actually get down there. Again, though, if you didn't, or if you hesitate, then you might cost yourself steps for no reason. Okay, here we go. Are we ready for the actual fight now? So first things first, I'm not sure if I've harped on this enough yet, but the deal is, when you get into a boss battle, they're going to get a turn, all right? They're going to get a turn. So it's kind of bad practice if you have a setup to do with all 3 characters. Like for this one, we want a big guard, hero drink, death sentence. If you have that kind of setup opening, you don't want to just go into Tifa's menu right away. Because what that's going to end up doing is it's going to freeze Cloud and Sid's ATB not full. And then you might end up with the situation where the boss is getting a turn. Now the boss is holding time in wait because it's in the middle of its animation, and Cloud and Sid are stuck at not full ATB, and you can't queue up their turns. Guess what? That means that the boss basically just wait tricked you when that happens. So don't do that. If you've got a setup for the 3 characters, just wait for everybody to get their ATB, and then do your setup. So here we go. For this one, it's going to be flip over to Cloud, do your big guard, Tifa, go down to hero drink, and then Sid gets ready on the death sentence for Tifa. Alright, so that's a big hit on Tifa. We can kind of take advantage of this by doing one juicy death blow before we heal her with Cloud. So this is going to be another situation, though, where Tifa just got her limit, which means she's going to get fast ATB now. Cloud actually might get fast ATB as well. Yeah, actually, wait, they're both going to get fast ATB. That's interesting. But we're going to do an advanced wait trick, remember? So, the deal with the advanced wait trick, if you don't remember, is we use an animation to hold time while we switch around in menus, right? So what we want to do here is we want to queue up a death blow on the ice head, which is the one that is not the default target. So we need to target the other head with the death blow, put it through, then get into Cloud's item menu in order to use a high potion with him. And in order to make sure that they don't get their next turn, and to leak as little ATB as possible, what we do is, once both Tifa and Cloud's ATB get full, we don't care what we're on, we just hold time at that point. And then when the skull becomes visible, that means that the death sentence animation is holding time at that point. So then you can switch to Tifa if you need to, or just back out, queue up your death blow, get into Cloud's item menu. And you can do all of that during the animation, which costs no ATB because time is being held by the skull. On the Genova video, I think I said that you have to wait for the skull to become opaque. That's incorrect. That's inaccurate. It's right when you can see the skull. So here we go. Boom. Boom. Hold time right when both characters are full. We can see the skull, so now death blow the other guy, get into Cloud's item menu. Alright, unfortunately she missed her attack. And then now we're going to do the same thing, just another advanced ATB trick, this time using the sparkles of the potion in order to get into Sid's item menu now. And now you basically wait trick, do advanced wait tricks with potions while we death blow the heads. Now here's the deal though. You gotta count the hits. Have you been counting the hits? We did a single added cut, a miss doesn't count, so the missed death blow doesn't count, and then we got a death blow added cut. So we're at 3 hits, and he counters at 6. So I'm going to heal Cloud here, get into the menu, put in that death blow, get into Cloud's item menu now, and it's just wait tricking back and forth. Okay, so now that we're at 4, that means that if the next death blow hits, it'll actually cause an earth counter to happen. Which means if Tifa gets ice breathed right now, that would be very unfortunate because she might not be able to survive a earth counter after that. So it's a little risky here because they're probably going to get a turn now. Yup. And if this ice breaths Tifa, that's a little monka, but you know we'll probably be fine, right? Yeah. They hit Cloud. We're fine. All right. She missed anyway though. So now that they're at 5 out of 6, that means we're definitely going to trigger an earth counter on this one. So make sure we top off Tifa's health here. Go for that ice head. She missed again. All right. So then, here's the earth counter. And now we want to make sure that Tifa is nice and healed up. I think she can survive the electric counter, because now we have to worry that there's a lightning counter when this head actually dies. Alright, so now, by the way, the counter resets, so we're at 2 on this head. And there we go. Every time, it's just queue up the... queue up the item. Okay, here it is. The first head is dead. It's gone flaccid. So now we get this counter. And now it's actually nice that Tifa is in critical HP now for a little bit, because that means she's going to do double damage. And only the fire head remains, which does 0 damage to her. So Tifa only needs to worry about an earth counter. And we actually don't even worry about the lightning counter for Tifa, because if she's dead at the end of this fight, it actually doesn't matter. So we only need to worry about earth counter, and so that means we can just put in a couple very powerful death blows. So once again, every time it's release the potion, when both characters' ATBs fill up, hold time, put in the command during the sparkles, and then switch to the other character's item menu. Oh, very nice hit. All right. So we're at 2. Ooh, beautiful! Alright, and now remember though, this head counters after only 5 hits. So what that means is now we would want to heal up Tifa before putting this next hit through if we want her to survive the earth counter. Here's a secret, though. Whether she's healed or not, the head is going to die on the next attack. Because with 2 hit death blows that are in critical on the firehead, it should either kill it or it barely has any health left. So it's unfortunate that we had to watch that long battle, or that long fire animation there, because he's dead to this next attack. I almost wonder if I could have thrown a grenade and killed him at that point in order to skip that animation. But there you go. There's the Schizo fight. And remember that Tifa is allowed to die here. That's totally fine if that happens. Sid also allowed to die. Totally fine if that happens. But on the next fight, we need to use Cloud's Cross Slash on the next fight. The next boss, that is, which is coming up pretty soon. And so it's very, very important that Cloud doesn't die. But the other 2 are fine, just for the record. Okay, let's do another one that's faster. Once again, make sure you're holding down when you running down when you clear that text box, and let's do a little bit of a faster example here with a little bit less explanation, and hopefully this makes sense. It's just a big counting game, making sure that you don't trigger a earth counter or when the characters are too low on HP. So here's our opener: big guard, Tifa hero drinks herself, and Sid gets ready with a death sentence on Tifa, but we hold time on it. Alright, and here we go. So now, during the animation, switch to death blow, target the guy, go into Cloud's item menu. 1 hit. 2 hits. Perfect. Into Sid's item menu using the sparkles of the potion. Alright. That's 4 hits, so if this next death blow hits, then he'll already earth counter. Alright, it did not. So that puts us in a similar position now, where if she gets Ice Breath, it's a little scary. Elemental Shiva would actually make that not scary, though. It might not even be that bad, though, since she is at least big guarded. It would be scary, though. Alright, there we go. So she hit the death blow, triggering the earth counter. So we're back to 0 on that head. But now here comes the added cut. Alright. So now we're at 1 hit on the head. And since it's about to die to the electrical attacks, we're on 2 hits now. It's about to die and do its electric attack, so I'm gonna heal Tifa here. Okay, I think we're on 3 hits now. I don't think that death blow hit either. Oh my gosh, alright. 4 hits. And it's dead. Alright, so the first head is now dead. Alright, and if you want, this is another thing you could do, is remember how, like, good it was to have the boss be, or to have Tifa critical? If she is at, if she's at less than 50% HP at this point, you could, at this point, do a laser. Wait trick over here. Boom. Now, she cracks for critical damage. How about that? Prioritize healing Cloud, since he's the one that needs to survive. Alright, alright. Then heal her back up. Alright, so we've hit 4 times now, so we are about to trigger an earth counter. But first, since we took too long because she didn't crack both of her critical death blows, that means now we're going to have to wait for this very long attack animation. But you're keeping it in your head, right? He's at 3 hits right now. So there's 4. Or wait, no, he was at 4. That was 5. Right. That's why I healed Tifa. So now we got to worry about the electric attack that's going to happen when he dies. So I'm going to heal up Cloud because it's imperative that he survives. Just prioritize healing him at this point. Alright, that's 1 hit. It's nice if Sid survives, so we'll get him healed back up. And as you can see, this is kind of the fight where all your high potions go. This fight is, you know, you lose a lot of high potions here. Alright, and there we go. Tifa perfectly died there. She had 441 HP, and she got hit for 441. But again, that's totally fine, because she doesn't actually need the experience. It doesn't affect the route. And the next fight, we're going to want Tifa to be in critical HP. And one thing that's very nice is that a Phoenix Down in this game revives a character with 25% HP, which guess what? That means that she's just perfectly critical. It revives them with the maximum amount of HP that they can have that is critical. So you wouldn't Phoenix Down her right away. Don't get me wrong. You wait until you're in front of the next boss and then Phoenix Down, and we'll get into that when we get there. But the point is, this is why it's okay for her to die, is because then you Phoenix Down her and she's at optimum health. But anyway, there you go. That's the safer, older Schizo strat. If Tifa does die, then you're going to need to Phoenix Down her, probably re-Big Guard. And it's a big bummer when that happens, because that's a huge loss of power. And so you're going to have to sit through more Earth counters if that happens, because you're going to be hitting him more times before he's dead. But that's the old version of the fight. Okay, so let's now talk about the newer, hotter version of the fight, which is it has a lot more consistency to it, because you're controlling the amount of damage that you do a lot more. And the purpose of this fight is that ideally you'll get through the fight without getting earth countered at all. It gets rid of the earth counter. And so how do we do that? Well, here's the deal. We're going to do the same intro where we do Big Guard, Hero Drink, Death Sentence, but then we're going to laser Tifa, if necessary, down to critical HP right away. And then we're going to do a very controlled, a series of controlled turns where we take out the Ice Head with a critical Tifa, except we get her out of critical just before we take it out, so that she survives the lightning counter, and then is back in critical to take out the right head. So the way that we do that, like I said, it's the same opener, and then we laser her ideally, but then the deal is, once she's in critical and we're set up, what we need to hit the Ice Head with is a Death Blow in critical, which includes a critical, a critical HP added cut. So a Death Blow with an added cut, then 2 standard attacks in critical HP, and then 2 standard attacks in healthy HP. And the deal is, the critical is going to hit for about 6,000, plus 3,000 from the added cut for 9,000. 2 critical attacks are 3,000 each, right? So that'll get you up to about 1,500 damage done. And then 2 regular attacks hit for about... this'll do 15,000. And then 2 regular attacks hit for about 1,500 each. So that will perfectly do 18,000 damage in only in 6 hits. So he won't have the chance to earth counter because he'll be dead. So that's the idea. And then the right head, since she'll be back in critical, 2 death blows with added cuts will kill. Otherwise, he'll be dead in 5 hits if she's critical the whole time and lands at least 1 death blow out of 5. So that's the idea, is that as long as on the first head she hits 1 death blow out of 3, and then on the second she hits 1 death blow out of 5, technically she has to hit 1 death blow out of 4 on the left head, and 1 out of 5 on the right head, and you'll beat the fight without any earth counters. So, this is a bit more complicated. This is why we put Elemental Shiva on Tifa in the Icicles menu, is because she's going to be critical. The fire head is going to do 0 to her, but the ice head, we have to have her big guarded and in elemental Shiva in order to survive a single ice breath. If she gets ice breath twice, that just really sucks, and it's a big time loss because, you know, then you have to revert to the other strategy and she's not hero drinked anymore and yada yada. So, here is the menu that you do for this strategy. Since we've already set up the elemental Shiva on the icicles, and we've reached this save point and we're now ready to do this strat, what we do is we use a tent on the party, like I said, or you can heal at the spring and use tranks, like I said. But then there's a quirk about laser. So the way that we get Tifa into critical is that we're going to laser her twice a lot of the time, and what laser does is 50% of an enemy or of the target's current HP rounded down, which means if her health is a perfect multiple of 4, then 2 lasers will put her at 25%. She's in critical. Great. If it's not a multiple of 4, then the damage gets rounded down, which means she ends up with like 26% HP, and she's not in critical, and it sucks. So, in order to prevent that from happening, after we tent, we go into materia. Hang on. Cat! Okay. After we tent, we go into Tifa's materia and take any materia like steel and just replace it with Bahamut. This reduces her max HP by 5%, and then you put steel back on, and it doesn't heal her for the 5%, so now she's at 727. That creates a margin of error where now, even when her health isn't a multiple of 4, 2 lasers will always get her into critical. So you don't have to do the math. You don't have to think about the multiple of 4. Just put Bahamut on her and take it back off. Because it also prepares for another contingency that might happen, which is that if she gets ice breathed before the lasers, then you usually want to do like a laser and then have Sid attack her. And if you only put on like poison, and so her health became 750, that might be too much, and his poke might not get her into critical. So Bahamut for safety, and then back off. So once again, that's tent, then materia, notch Tifa's health using Bahamut, then go into limit, and we need to make sure that Tifa's and Sid's limits are empty. And so I've already done it on this one, but you would, if you need to, you just go in and set her limit to 1, set his limit to 1. That reduces them down to 0. The reason is because, unlike the other strat, we need to use regular attacks with Tifa, and sometimes a regular attack with Sid on this fight. And so, to enable that, they need to not have their limit breaks. And lastly, once again, if you're not already on ATB wait, you need to be on ATB wait. Alright, so the recap, again, tent, Bahamut, limits, ATB wait. Alright? Alright. And now, once again, if you didn't hear me harp about it earlier because you skipped to this part because you don't want to learn the other strategy, make sure to force a fight here if you're not on a step route so that you don't get into a inescapable encounter. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch that. It's back there. All right, and here we go. Run straight down here so you don't lose any steps. Again, it's back there if you don't know what I'm talking about because you skipped ahead. But let's go. Let's show this version of this fight. So, same thing. Wait for everybody's ATB to fill up. And then we do our big guard. Tifa finds her hero drink. Sid holds time on death sentence. And then you just kind of assess the situation. We get a free turn with Tifa here. I'm going to high potion Sid. So Tifa's already in her item menu. So for the advanced ATB trick, just find her high potions real quick, get them on Sid, and then advanced ATB trick yourself into Cloud's enemy skill menu, which he's also already highlighting. So Tifa's already on item, Cloud's already on E-skill, very convenient. So put this through. High potion Sid, get into this menu, get ready on laser. Laser on Tifa. And now here's the tricky part. So, because we did the advanced ATB trick properly, that means that this laser goes off before they get another turn. However, after this laser goes off, both the heads are going to get their turns. So, what we have to do, this is kind of the most complicated execution part, is we need to put through the laser, then we need to hold time right away. And then when the laser animation begins, so we're in like trick frames. Actually, that doesn't matter all that much. But basically, when Tifa and Sid get their ATB, we want Tifa to highlight Death Blow for a second from now, and then we need to get into Sid's enemy skill menu and get ready to possibly laser Tifa, but they're going to get their turn, and so we need to adjust. We only laser Tifa if she doesn't get Ice Breathed. And if she doesn't get Ice Breathed, then if we allow Cloud's ATB to refill, then during the Ice Breath animation, we can get Tifa's Death Blow in and hold time with Cloud all during their turn. So let's do that. So that's laser, hold time, animation starts. So go to Death Blow, go to E skill, get ready on laser Tifa. Oh, but now we need to release time also to let Cloud get his ATB back. And then it's on Tifa, so that actually means that now we need to strike Tifa with Sid. Then we put her Death Blow in, and it hit. Now, I had to talk about that, and so I didn't actually end up doing that perfectly, which is going to cost us. It might get them an extra opportunity to Ice Breath Tifa, which is bad. But so this puts us in a very awkward situation, though, where now Tifa has not enough health in order to survive an Ice Breath, because she already got Ice Breath once, and the setup with striking her with Sid put her a little bit too low. So that actually really sucks. We need to, like, prage that that's not going to happen, that she's not going to get Ice Breathed. But anyway, so it's time now that we're in the setup. We're in the setup now where she's critical, and she struck a Death Blow. So remember the counting. 1 critical Death Blow with its added cut, 2 critical attacks, and 2 regular attacks. And so, now that means that we need to use our advanced ATB trick now in order to exit her Death Blow and switch over to regular attack to target the head with. So now, ATB tricking with potions is, like, even more important. So with the sparkles of the potion, you can see, we hold time right when Tifa gets her ATB, switch over to attack, target the guy, and try to get into, and then hold time with Sid. So there we go. She got her 1 attack in. We go again. Switch to Tifa, attack, queue it up on that head. Now, if this hits Tifa, that's just very unfortunate. Luckily, it did not. We are now safe, because now that she's done her 2 regular attacks, now we heal Tifa, and it's time to do her 2 normal attacks. So there's 1. He heals himself. There's another. And now it's time to get ready on Grenade, because now this head should be dead. Uh-oh. It's not, though. So Tifa also underdamaged. So Tifa underdamaging is very unfortunate. That means that now we need to heal her a little bit. So the lightning attack should hit her for like 400 something, which means what I'm going to do is use a regular potion on her and then queue up a regular attack. That's going to get her, or that's going to get us lightning countered, and then she'll be in critical for the second head. So there we go. Because she only barely didn't kill it, you know? So we know it's dead to the next attack. And so this will get her in the right amount of health, because it almost always does, like, yeah, 424 it did. So that potion was just to make sure she wouldn't die. And now it's time for the Firehead. So the Firehead is very easy. You don't have to worry about Tifa dying, because she will, she doesn't get hurt by the Firehead. And also, Sid doesn't get hit by the Sid gets healed by the Firehead. So I'm going to heal Cloud first, and then during the Sparkle, switch back to Death Blow, and then back into Cloud's item menu. Very nice, the first Death Blow hit. So if this Death Blow hits, that would be very fast, except I think he might... Oh no, she did get her attack. Okay, nice. But it didn't hit. So that actually, that costs us. I think I could have done a defend right there instead of a potion, because he's going to get his big turn right here anyway. And yeah, so this is the big 3-breath combo that he does because we didn't kill him fast enough. But if that second Death Blow had hit, it would have killed him. All right. So, he's dead now, by the way. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Dash, you told me that this strategy gets you not Earth countered. Well, unfortunately, Tifa does have the chance to underroll her damage, and then you'll have to back it up like we did right there. But that, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, and that's how you handle it. You make sure that she's not, like, under, like 450 health, but you don't want to high potion her, because then the lightning counter won't take her into critical health, and you want her to be critical after the lightning counter, which is why I was prepared to throw a grenade at her before. Anyway, you might also be saying, Dash, what if the Death Blow misses? Great question. So if the Death Blow misses, she still follows it up with the critical added cut, and so we just count that as a critical attack. So if it's like Death Blow miss, then we go, okay, that was a critical attack. Then we try to Death Blow, she misses, we go, okay, that was 2 critical attacks now. Go for the third Death Blow, it hits, cool, now it's time to heal her and do 2 regular attacks. Alright. If the third Death Blow misses, then we need to do 2 more regular critical attacks with her, heal her, and go for a Death Blow. If the Death Blow misses, it'll kill the head, or if the Death Blow hits, it'll kill the head. If it misses, you're getting Earth countered, is how that works. And so maybe we'll show that off here as well. Okay, so let's show another one. And okay, let's go. So, we're going to go a little faster this time. Wait for everybody's ATB. Big guard. Tifa, hero drink. Oh, Tifa got Ice Breath this time again. Now, here's another thing to consider, is if, when he opens with Ice Breath on Tifa, you gotta real quick do the math and figure out that 387 is more than half of 766. So a single laser will not put her into critical. But if it does hit her down underneath 50% health, then that's actually really fast, because then Cloud lasers her and she can immediately Death Blow instead of having to do the Sid turn. But this one is going to be set up similar to the last one, which means we are once again at great risk of an Ice Breath, of a second Ice Breath, unfortunately. Oh wait, she doesn't have to do anything here, so we're just gonna flip over here. Alright, and go laser. Alright, and then let Cloud get his ATB back. Oh, whoops, I didn't quite do it right. Is this hit? It's not hitting Tifa, so alright. Death Blow, get into Cloud's item menu. Alright, so 1 critical attack. Item menu. There's the Death Blow, so we need 1 more critical attack. So now, using the Sparkles, switch to regular attack. So notice, I held time on Death Blow when both of their ATBs filled up, and then when the Sparkles started happening, I backed out, because now the Sparkles are holding time. Switch to attack, put it in, get into Cloud's item menu. That's like the whole fight. Please don't Ice Breath Tifa. Please don't Ice Breath Tifa. This is the last chance. Okay, we made it. We're in there. Alright, so now we heal Tifa. It's time for 2 healthy attacks. There's 1. And here comes the second one. This should kill him. Which means, oh my god, it didn't again. I must have a weak Tifa on this particular save state. She must be a little bit low on strength. She's at 430, so again, I'm going to do the potion strat, where I potion her once, and then send her in to finish it off. Now we get ready, because we're probably going to have to heal Cloud here. But yeah, if your Tifa is a little bit stronger, you don't got to worry about this. Nice hit. Kind of low on damage, though, I'm noticing. 5,800 is not really what you want to see. Oh, she hit both of them, though. All right, so now he's definitely dead at this point. And so... Unfortunately, though, because she... So if she hadn't... Again, if my Tifa on this save state wasn't kind of weak, those 2 death blows would have killed him. But because she underrolled damage, now he gets his big long attack. But it's okay. It's at least safe. We know that the next hit will kill him. Whether it's the death blow or the added cut, he's dead. Because he had barely any health left at that point. All right. So, all of these fights are going pretty well, except for the Tifa underrolling damage, but I think that that's fine. I do want to show what happens if she doesn't underroll, though. So, I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and I'm gonna just, like, give her a couple more strength points so that we can have a non-underrolled example. I've now cheated Tifa's strength 2 higher in order to simulate a slightly better strength rolled Tifa, which is more typical. These underrolls are not super common. All right, so let's go a little bit faster, and maybe we'll show different RNG this time, because this fight can go so many different ways depending on things that happen. She's getting Ice Breath at the start again? However, 381, though, is less than 50%. So we can actually show the other way to do this now, because now a single laser will put her in critical. So, we Death Sentence, get in her item menu, High Potion Cloud with the animation, and get into his E-skill menu. And now this E-skill is going to get her ready. So that means right away we get to start with the weight tricking. So we're gonna hold time right when Tifa and Cid's ATBs get filled, and then during the laser animation, advanced ATB trick or advanced weight trick, a death blow on the ice head, and then get into Cid's item menu. So here we go. Boom. Lasers. So death blow. Oops, I went into his attack instead by accident. But that's fine. We're just holding time, and it's okay. If ever this happens where you've started holding time in the wrong menu, then just cool it. Just wait. It's fine. All right, there's our 1 critical attack now, because now the idea is you would throw a potion, and that would instantly release the other 2 characters' ATBs. So you just wait until now to switch menus, because then, yeah, we leaked a little bit of time, but it gave ATB to the characters that we want to get it anyway. So, there you go. So let's throw this potion, get ready for another death blow attempt, get into Cloud's item menu. There's the hit death blow, so we're at 1 critical attack and the death blow is done. Now, here's an interesting spot where both characters have full HP besides Tifa. I just throw a regular potion anyway in this circumstance, because we need to switch over to attack instead of death blow, and I don't want to leak time. So I think they both get a turn here anyway, so it doesn't really matter, and maybe it's a little slow, but it kind of keeps the fight flowing. All right, so here you go. So Tifa got hit by 1 Ice Breath. That's why her health amount in the elemental is Shiva is so important. Is she has barely enough health to survive an Ice Breath. Guess what, though? Her getting Ice Breath once at this point is actually good, because now we've done the death blow, we've done the 2 critical attacks, it's time to high potion her for her 2 healthy attacks, which she'll get before the next Ice Breath. And so what this means is we actually, it means that the lightning counter from the enemy, because she got Ice Breath, the lightning counter on the enemy is going to put her back into critical. Otherwise, we'd have to grenade her. So, we've done it. We did all the attacks, so now it's High Potion Tifa. Healthy attack number 1. And healthy attack number 2. This will kill the head, and because she got Ice Breath, she's at 520 health, and this will put her back in critical. If that weren't the case, you would go over to Grenade, and I would spend the next turn grenading her down to critical HP. You know, you would just... You know, if she hadn't been Ice Breath, she wouldn't be critical, and it would be okay. You just grenade her right here, and then do the death blow, using the advanced weight trick with the grenade. But instead, we're just gonna use the high potion like normal. Switch back to death blow. Nice hit. Over to Sid. Put through that death blow. Nice hit. And because she's not under rolling damage this time, that kills him. So, I had to stop and explain a lot of stuff. So it wasn't like literally fast, but like, did you see how controlled and fast that fight was compared to the regular the first strategy that I showed? We got those attacks in. We healed her. We got those attacks in. That killed the left head before an earth counter. Then both of her death blows hit. We killed the right head before his earth counter. That was essentially a perfect Schizo fight. What just happened? So yeah. And once again, it's perfectly acceptable for Tifa to be dead at the end of the fight. And once again, if Tifa does die, it really sucks. You need to Phoenix down her. She's no longer hero drinked, and then basically you just gotta revert to this strategy and just try to finish the fight as best you can. But I think that just about shows the Schizo fight. Hopefully that was good. And then after the fight, optionally, you can cure the party if you want. I think it's probably usually a good idea to cure here, and then config. You may go to ATB active here as well for running away from the next several fights before the next boss. Lately though, I don't bother. I just keep it on wait throughout the next part. And I haven't been really having much issues with it. And then remember, this room has the inescapable battles, and we ran up to this point without missing any steps. This is the part right here that if you're on a step route, you'll be fine. If you are not on a step route, the reason that you want to force the fight before this room is so that you have zero danger for that little traversal right there. There were 3 steps, 3 danger increments and battle checks in that little run right there that you don't want to get caught up in. Let's say, worst case scenario, you do get into a fight and it's inescapable. If it's the 2 tigers, just magic breath them. Otherwise, bats should be like Molotov'd, I think, or yeah, actually magic breath probably. Probably magic breath bats also, but do it with Sid, because we want Cloud probably to have enough MP to big guard again. Yeah. Anyway, though, that's probably not important. And that's Schizo. Thank you for watching this episode, and I hope I see you on the next one. Enjoy.